Time again for the Curator's Corner, in studio with Jim Sapika, Director of the National Firearms Museum in Fairfax, Virginia. And Jim, you're so good to me, or to us, I should say. You bring so many neat things out here. Let's talk about, this week we're focusing on the forgotten six guns of the Old West. So tell us more.
John, I can't stop with just one. I like these too much. When you think about the Old West six guns, of course, the first thing everybody thinks of is the Colt Single Action Army, which of course is the classic six gun that we all know from Western movies and television show. This particular one's been extensively modified, but still your basic Colt Single Action design. Folks who know a little bit more may be familiar with the Remington revolver, which was very similar to the Colt Single Action Army, just a little bit different lines, but the function was the same. Both single action revolvers that had to be manually cocked to be fired.
Great sound when you work the
Isn't
action,
that great?
too.
You just love that. C-O-L-T is what that spells. And you loaded each round individually through the ejection port and ejected them with a manual ejector rod that lay alongside the barrel. The Remington operated very similarly. A gun that was actually produced in very, very significant numbers in that post-Civil War American West was the Smith & Wesson Model 3, which many folks also know about. It's a large single-action top-break revolver, a little different design than the Colt, and highly popular at the time, very accurate, very effective revolver. The gun that people don't know about from the Old West is the Merlin Hilbert. Now, this company has not survived. Colt and Smith & Wesson and Remington are all still major manufacturers. Merlin Hilbert faded very early, but they made a very wonderful and a very unusual revolver in the 1880s. Of course, everybody thinks of the large frame six guns with the Old West, but there were certainly smaller pocket-sized models too.
Right.
This is the early style of Merlin Hilbert. You can see it's got an open top on the frame like a percussion revolver. This is a single action. It's unusual, to our eye anyway, because it has the scoop flutes rather than the standard full flutes that you're used to seeing on the other models. And kind of the really neat thing about it is the opening mechanism on this revolver. This revolver has a button here on the bottom of the frame that is pushed towards the rear of the frame. Oh. The barrel rotates and is pulled forward. The cylinder follows it, and the cartridge rims would be caught under the recoil shield to where you could selectively eject the empties only by just pulling forward far enough for the empty casings to fall out and the other cartridges remain in place. It's wonderful, wonderful, unusual design, and very, very popular. You know, nobody knows for sure the records of this company. It's been estimated that several thousand were made. Well, just in terms of how often you see these on the collector market, I tend to suspect that there were at least as many of these out there as there were the Remington single actions. So this is probably either the third or the fourth most popular big six gun of the Old West, but one that's kind of been lost in the mists of history.
Yeah.
It's an exceptionally well-made gun.
Yeah,
Isn't this cool?
They're both beautiful guns in their own way. Yeah, that's beautiful.
This is a double action revolver. Okay. Now, the mechanism is not working on this, but it could be fired either by pulling the trigger straight through. Mm-hmm. It has a folding hammer spur, which was a unique feature offered on some Merlins. Yes. And it works the same way. But what this gun will illustrate is the fine machining of, other than not functioning right now, it needs the mechanical work, but the fine machining of these guns that people have said cannot be reproduced today. I'm going to open this gun, and then I'm going to release the cylinder once I've opened it, and watch what happens. Did you see it pop back?
Yeah.
That's not spring-loaded. That is the suction created by the tight fit around the cylinder pin.
And when these were manufactured, this was all hand machined.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're just remarkably well made, incredibly well fitted.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
no computer did that.
Yeah, no.
That is pretty amazing.
Just remarkable guns. This particular one has an interchangeable barrel. You just slip the barrel and cylinder off. You take the cylinder and you can put the long barrel on it.
Oh, wow.
If you want to. This was a feature that you find on quite a few Merlins. And then you've gone from your little pocket model to your full-size model.
Look at that.
They call this a skull crusher grip frame.
Right.
But just a very colorful and wonderful Old
Yeah.
West revolver. One of the neat things about Merwin's is you see the Colts and the Smith & Wessons with the very fancy carved scroll engraving on them. The typical engraving that you'll find on a Merlin Hilbert is what they call Punchdot style. It's done more with punching than with carving, but it's kind of fun and kind of almost folk art in its effect. And this has the very typical Punchdot engraving, as does this smaller model here. A lot of times they will have a panel scene or some type of representational art on them as well. This one, the smaller one, has a dog on it, and this one has a lion in the punch scroll here. But very, very colorful. Like I say, almost folk art, but very well done and
Beautiful.
just fun and wonderful Old West revolvers.
Beautiful revolvers inside and out. We see
They
the work
are.
on the
They
outside and the machining work on the inside. Fantastic. The Merlin Hilbert.
That's it.
Wow, one of the forgotten 6 guns of the West. That is really neat. And Jim, tell us how people can see more firearms like these treasures out in Fairfax.
We've got 2,500 guns on display in the museum. Fully half of the museum collection is on public display. We're located at the NRA headquarters building, 11250 Waples Mill Road in Fairfax, Virginia. We're open every day of the week. We're closed only on major holidays, 9:30 to 5 most days. We stay open late till 7 on Saturday. There's never an admission charge, and we love to get people out and see America's firearms heritage on display.
Beautiful, beautiful. And they can also, right now, you're sort of in a construction project, a virtual one on the web. So a whole
Yes.
new website's coming
Yeah,
out in
yeah.
5 or 6 months. And what's that website address?
NationalFirearmsMuseum.org.
Right, so stay tuned to here and to there for details as that. Every firearm there is going to be up on the website. That's a great
It'll be
thing.
cool.
But either way, when you're out there, this spring and summer, making your plans and coming to the DC area, get in there and see the National Firearms Museum. Jim Sapika, Director of the National Firearms Museum in Fairfax, Virginia. Thank you, sir, for coming out for the Curator's Corner.
Always a pleasure, John.